guys, it's Miss Becca. Today we're making Voodoo String Dolls just in time for Halloween. Here's what we'll need. First, grab some yarn or some floss, whichever one works, any color for the body, whichever you prefer. Then go ahead and grab a second color. This is the color that you will use for the pants. Then go ahead and choose a third color of any kind for the shirt. You'll also need 2 pipe cleaners of any color. This is for the body and they will be covered up anyway. And then grab a pony bead. This will be used for its head. The last things you'll need are of course some scissors and some glue. I'm using hot glue, but tacky glue works just fine as well. The first thing we're going to do is take our pony bead and tie our string around the bead. This is how we are going to start making the head. If you don't have a pony bead, that's okay. You can also use some aluminum foil. All you'll need to do is take a small piece of aluminum foil, make it into a ball, and then you can start wrapping your yarn around that and start making the head. So you can see me here tying the yarn around the pony bead. Then from here, I'm going to go ahead and clip off that little excess yarn. And now I'm going to make sure I have enough slack so that I can start wrapping the head. Let me go ahead and warn you, this part is probably the hardest part of the entire thing. You need to really make sure when you wrap that you hold it really tight and don't let go. Trust me, if it unravels quickly and all your hard work goes down the drain. So hold it very tightly and just keep wrapping. Don't become frustrated. If after you wrap it a bit, you want to secure it with some glue, that would be a good idea too. So after a few wraps, maybe drop a dot of glue on there and then keep wrapping. That will help keep things nice and neat and keep them from unraveling on you. And don't worry if your hands start to cramp up, that's perfectly normal too. Just take a stretching break when you need it and then keep going. Alright, when the head is the size that you kind of want it, you can go ahead and drop a dot of glue on there to secure the yarn in place. I stopped when my head was about a full inch all the way around. Be forewarned that when you do put the glue on there, you will still want to make sure you're holding it tightly because until the glue dries, it will be able to slip pretty easily. Now let's go ahead and start our body. You will need both of those pipe cleaners from before. Once again, any color as the yarn will cover it up. Take one of the pipe cleaners and let's fold it in half. We are going to leave a little loop at the top. That's going to be where we secure the head at the end. Notice my loop, it's kind of large. This is also going to be the size of your neck. So I would suggest maybe making your loop a little bit smaller. Now, do the same thing with the second pipe cleaner. Fold it in half, but this time, instead of making a loop, we are going to loop it around that first pipe cleaner. Secure it there, give it a few twists, and now you've secured the body. You've got a neck, 2 arms, and 2 legs. Now let's start wrapping the body. Take that original string, whichever color you used for the body, and let's wrap it around the torso. Go ahead, tie it off, make a few knots. 2 should be fine. Once again, go ahead and take some scissors and cut off that extra at the end. And now let's start wrapping. Go ahead and take that and let's wrap around its torso a few times to kind of get its body formed. Once you've wrapped it around the torso a few times, you can start on one of the legs. Make sure that you're wrapping it tightly, just like you did with the head. And you want to make sure that you're wrapping it close so that you can't see the color of the pipe cleaner. We can keep going like this, just as we are, or if you notice, this doll has really long, skinny arms and legs. If that's what you want, that's totally cool. You can keep going that way. I decided that I'm going to shorten my arms and legs. That way, he's a little bit more proportionate and he's a little bit thicker. So go ahead and take one of your legs and we're just going to fold it in half. Bring it all the way up to where it meets the torso. Hold it together and then twist it so that the pipe cleaner does not come unraveled. Now he has a shorter, thicker leg and he's more proportionate. Let's go ahead and do the same thing to the other leg and the two arms. All right, now let's go ahead and we're going to continue wrapping around that same leg we already started. Once again, make sure you wrap nice and tight and close together so that you don't show any of the pipe cleaner. Once you get all the way to the bottom, you might want to secure it by its feet with a little bit of glue before you go ahead and wrap all the way back up. Once you finish one leg, go ahead and give it a couple of wraps around the torso just to make sure it's nice and secure before you start wrapping that second leg. Continue the same way you did before. Wrap down the leg, secure with a little bit of glue at the foot, and then wrap all the way back up. Now it's time to start the arms. Once again, before you go onto one of the arms, wrap a few times around the torso. Then continue to wrap one arm just like you did the legs. Wrap tightly and close together. Secure at the hand with a bit of glue, and then wrap back towards the torso. You guessed it, do the exact same thing with the other arm. Wrap a few times around the torso and then finish that second arm. All right, now that the body is complete, go ahead and wrap it a few more times around the torso. And then we're going to tie it off. So give yourself a little bit of slack and tie it in a knot probably at least 2 times to make sure he doesn't come undone. Now I'm going to take the yarn and put it through the hole that's going to be for the neck. That's going to be where I tie it off to make sure that it's secure. You could also just tie it a couple times around the torso, whichever way works best for you. Now I'm going to attach the head to the body. What I'm going to do is take that string from the head and tie it around that loop at the neck. Once again, make sure you tie it in a knot at least twice. Now the head is attached, but it's kind of floppy. In order to make the neck a little bit more secure and to hold the head up, take both strings and wrap it around the neck a few times. I secured this string with some glue. That way, the doll's head won't flop around too much. Go ahead and take your scissors and cut off any extra string or yarn. And now his body and head are complete. You can leave your doll this way, or you can dress him or her up any way you'd like to. I'm gonna go ahead and put some clothes on my doll. So first things first, I'm going to take the blue yarn that I have and make his pants. I'll use the red yarn for the shirt. To start off, take the yarn and you're going to simply tie it in a double knot around the torso. Cut off any extra yarn. Now, just as before, start wrapping around the torso very tightly and very close together. After all, you don't want the pants to have holes in them. Once you've wrapped a few times around the torso, you're going to start wrapping around each leg. I wrapped in a figure 8 motion around each leg. So I'd wrap around one, then the other in a figure 8 motion. I decided to stop here and only make shorts. If you wanted, you can go all the way down and make pants. Once you're done, go ahead and snip the yarn and then tie it off around one of the legs. It's probably also a good idea for you to secure it with a bit of glue as well. going to do the same thing for the shirt. Go ahead and take your other color. I'm using red. Start off the same exact way, tying it around the torso. Make sure you secure it with a double knot and snip off any extra yarn. Then go ahead and begin wrapping around the torso just as before. Once you've wrapped enough around the torso, go ahead and start wrapping around one of the arms. Make sure you wrap as tightly to the shoulder as possible. This will help you later. You can make a long sleeve shirt and go all the way down to the wrist, or you can stop and just make a regular t-shirt. Once you figured out your length of your sleeve, roll back towards the shoulder. Now we're going to crisscross over the torso from one shoulder down to the armpit of the other side. Then do the opposite. Go to the opposite armpit and wrap to the other shoulder. That's going to help you cover the top, chest, and back area of your doll. Once you've done that, begin wrapping on the second arm to create the second sleeve. Once you come back, make sure you pay attention to any spots that you may have missed so that you can cover any areas that you need to. I then wrapped it around the neck a few times to help secure it and to help give the t-shirt a finished look. Now I'm covering any spots that I may have missed. I'm going to tie it in a double knot and secure it with a bit of glue. Go ahead and snip off any extra yarn. And now you can decide whether or not you want to decorate her face, give her hair. It's completely up to you. I think I want to go ahead and give my doll a face and hair and maybe even some extra embellishments. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some fabric markers. I have black, red, and brown. Regular markers would work as well. Permanent markers would probably be best. I'm going to go ahead and give her 2 eyes and a mouth. Now that she's done, I think I'll add a little bracelet to her arm just to give some added embellishment. You could do a necklace if you wanted, you could draw on a hat, or even glue on a hat if you would like. I think that I will also draw on some shoes on her feet just to complete her look. Once again, you don't have to use markers, you could use another material if you would like. Now that her shoes are on, let's go ahead and give her some hair. I forgot to tell you to get a third color of yarn if you would like to put hair on your doll. My doll will be a girl, so I want her to have some pretty long hair. I'm going to wrap it around my fingers quite a few times. Now, the more fingers you wrap around, the longer the hair will be. So if you want really short hair, maybe just wrap it around 1 or 2 fingers instead of all 4 or your entire hand. I made mine even a little bit longer than my hand, so I'm just going back and forth in this zigzag motion until I get quite a bit of hair going here. Once you have the desired amount of hair that you want, go ahead and cut off the extra string. Then cut off a second piece and tie it directly in the middle. Make sure you do a double knot so that it doesn't come undone. Next, take your scissors and cut the loops at the end. This will create the strands of hair. One side is done. Go ahead and do the same thing to the loops on the other side. Now that I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and flatten it out. The part where I tied is going to be the top of the scalp. Let's go ahead and put a decent amount of glue on top of our doll's head, and then we will go ahead and attach our wig to our doll. Be careful not to burn yourself. Now's the time where you'd want to set the hair down into place exactly where you want it before the glue dries. Ta-da! I went ahead and cut her a few bangs on top just to give her a little more personality. Aren't they cute? I glued them down into place so they wouldn't fly all over. You could decorate her hair or give her a hairstyle if you'd like pigtails, like that. That would be super cute. Or put her hair up on top of her head in a bun, but that's totally up to you. Make your doll your own. I'm going to leave her hair like this. The one thing I do want to change, however, are her eyes. I'm just not feeling it. So I went and got a couple of buttons. I'm going to use 2 buttons as her eyes. I know they are not the same color or size, but I did that on purpose. I think it's going to make her look kind of creepy for Halloween. If you don't like that, you can totally find 2 buttons or use 2 googly eyes. This part is completely up to you and your creativity. And now, once her eyes are on and I let them dry, she is complete. I hope you had fun making these string voodoo dolls today. If you made one, please take a picture and drop it in the comments. We'd love to see the creepy dolls in action. See you next time.